Alright, guys. So this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from my good friend Jason Voorhees 2011. And as always, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon to hit the 4th tier, and where you guys can send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with this video. And this is actually kind of interesting because Jason asked me to do this as a full video after I had done a poll a while back. Guys, remember I did a video talking about an AU regarding like a Pulp Hero AU. That was a little while back. So in here, in this story, one of those one of the other things for this AU poll was a Mad Max AU. So Jason basically asked me, hey, can you just do the Mad Max AU as a full-on like thing? Can you do that for me? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So in here, I'm going to talk about like this idea for a Mad Max AU. So in here, we're going to have that these are characters that are a part of the Mad Max universe. No one's taking on the role of Max. No one's taking on the role of another character. These are like characters that are like Disney Universe characters that have been, or other characters that have been more or less trained. The term would be like in this version of them in this Mad Max AU. So let's get started. So let's get started with the first one I kind of thought of for this whole video. It was kind of like one of the first things I really thought about for this Mad Max AU was this idea where it focuses on the Gravity Falls family. And in here, in this universe, basically the Gravity Falls group is basically in here, in the Gravity Falls family, they are basically like the Angel family from Judge Dredd. And if you guys know your Judge Dredd, then you already know what that means. They're a group of just a bunch of nutbag cannibals who more or less are like nomadic, and they go seeking out people to eat or anything they can really get their hands on. They're very much like a combination of the Angel family, and I guess you could say the clan from the Hills Have Eyes. Their whole thing is that they really prefer to be left alone, and they more or less hunt and eat travelers. They're very much like a nomadic group. They're very much like a savage group too. But yeah, they're also smart. They're also pretty damn smart. So yeah, just imagine like a post-apocalyptic version of the group from the Hills Have Eyes, and that's this version of the Gravity Falls group. So anyway, so moving on now to Randy Cunningham and pretty much everything from Norrisville on a whole. So in here, in the world of Randy Cunningham, 9th Grade Ninja, in that universe, basically, when the Great War, when the Great Fire more or less happened, Norrisville was pretty much nuked. However, among the survivors, a lot of people were kind of warring against one another for control of the city. And who came on top was McFist. And McFist in here became he called himself the Shogun. And he took over with an iron fist, Iron McFist, you might, if you will, over the rest of the city. He basically was like, yeah, I'm going to be in charge, I'm going to rule over everything, and no one's going to stop me. That was until a young warrior came along in a black El Camino, decked out as a warrior from the stories of old, and this warrior was Randy, and Randy slew McFist and became the new shogun of the kingdom. He more or less took over the remnants of Norrisville and rebuilt it as like a kind of steampunk, post-apocalyptic feudal Japan. Like, he more or less tore down buildings and rebuilt them as like scrap metal pagodas and whatnot. And he became the city of Norrisville's leader. And like I said, he became known as the new shogun. When he took over, he more or less implemented that all were welcome, but if you make trouble, you're dead. Like, at the moment you make trouble, you're basically dead, and you are, you're fucked either way. Then we have, and they also kind of have their own problems because they're at war with another group. They're at war with another rival group not too far away. They have to keep away the Pines family, the Pines clan, from getting into their city, which is, I guess you could say, like Norrisville's become like a a post-apocalyptic feudal version of Mega City 1. And in here, they not only have to keep the Pines clan out or eating anyone they find. There's also another group not too far away that they have to worry about, and that is the city of Amphibia, where in there nuclear war has more or less mutated a vast amount of the people to give them like fraud, and has forced them to like evolve into like semi-amphibious mutants, and these guys have more or less been surviving off of going to war with other cities, and Norrisville is kind of on their docket for invasion. And their leader, or should I say their leaders, the three sisters, Anne, Marcy, and Sasha, who are known as the Three Sisters. They are the three leaders of Amphibia, of the people of Amphibia. Even though they are not mutated themselves, they're known as what they are called, or like the pure. They are the purest DNA. They are mutated, but their mutation was inward. They're faster, stronger, and can actually like heal. Like they have like a healing factor to them. So the three of them act as like three leaders against the other forces out there in the world. So there is that. Then you have all the way in the remnants of Paris, where in here we have warring clans of what was left of Paris. Like you have Marinette, who leads her own tribe. You have Hawkmoth, who is the overlord of it, and everyone's not so much like fighting against Hawkmoth. It's more like everyone's fighting against each other to see who gets control of Paris and who gets to rule over everything when all is said and done. Like that's kind of the whole thing, is like everyone's just kind of out against one another. Everyone is trying to best one another in these matchups, and everyone's just trying to get control over the other in order to rule over the city, the remnants of the city. As for others, you have all the way in California, where the city is broken up in two groups, two factions. You have the monsters, who are mutated people, and you have the Mumins, who are like, they call themselves the genetically pure. They call themselves like the radiation made them stronger, it made them purer, and they also are led by a royal family that installed themselves into the remnants of California after the events of the apocalypse, and that's how it's always been. So, among the monsters is a young boy named Marco, who has been raised by his foster father, Toffee, who has been training him since birth to be a warrior. However, Marco's kind of got the interest in a certain blonde princess of this post-apocalyptic royal family, and that's kind of the whole thing. It's like a Romeo and Juliet thing. I thought that'd be kind of fun to add into a Mad Max story. Sorry about that. So yeah, that was I thought that'd be kind of a fun idea to do, to add into this universe. As for others, I would say, like, it's all kind of just these warring clans who are against one another, and they're all trying to like install their own leadership, because a lot of this is in America, whereas you guys know a lot of the Mad Max stuff happens in the remnants of Australia. So I thought it'd be kind of fun that the rest of the world's kind of nuked. So what's the rest of the world look like? What does the rest of the world look like after the events of the nuclear apocalypse? So I thought that'd be kind of a fun idea to really play with in here. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of this Mad Max AU? Did you guys like it, hate it? Comment below, let me know. And once again, I'd like to thank Jason Voorhees 2011 for this video. This was a lot of fun to do. And like I said, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where if you hit the 4th tier, you can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube as well. But other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.